What's going on, YouTube? Mr. Wheels here, once again, bringing you another episode of Sports Talk. And if you're a hockey fan, today was like Christmas in March. It was NHL trade deadline day. There was a lot of big names out there for teams to be able to upgrade and get better before the playoffs. Guys like Martin St. Louis, Ryan Kessler, Mike Camilleri, Alex Edler, Ryan Callahan, Marian Gaborik, the list goes on and on and on. So let's get started. And the first trade was a huge blockbuster. Martin St. Louis is no longer a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He was traded to the New York Rangers for Ryan Callahan and a 2015 first-round pick and a 2014 second-round pick. And, so if you're New York Rangers fan, hooray, you got Martin St. Louis, you got a 38-year-old forward that will help out your team and help you with the playoff push. Not quite the same outcome for Tampa Bay, but Ryan Callahan is younger. Even though he's a UFA at the end of the season, the soap opera with St. Louis is over. Now let's move on right away to the Ottawa Senators. They were looking to upgrade at the wing position and try to get a winger to play with Jason Spezza. So they traded a 5th-round pick in 2014, a 3rd-round pick in 2015 for Ales Hemsky out of Edmonton. And I don't really think that that's a huge upgrade. Hopefully Hemsky will have some chemistry with his countryman Milan McCulloch. But if they put Jason Spezza between those two guys, I don't know whether they're really a two-line team with that upgrade. Who knows? We'll find out. But in my opinion, they would still only have one really good top line, if you could even call it that. Moving on, the LA Kings traded prospects with the Buffalo Sabres, and they got 2 second-round picks. In addition to those prospects, they got 2 second-round picks in 2014 and 2015. So not a huge splash there, but there'll be more to come from LA. The Montreal Canadiens acquired goalie Devin Dubnyk. He's been bouncing around like a ping pong ball. Bam. He was in Edmonton at the start of the season, wound up in Nashville, and now he's a member of the Montreal Canadiens. And all Nashville got in return, or maybe all they asked for in return, was future considerations. Now, I said there would be more from the LA Kings, and indeed there was. They traded forward Matt Fratton and 2 2014 picks to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Marian Gaborik, and they got what they wanted, and a lot of people suspected that they were looking to upgrade at the wing position, and they did that, and they were able to do it for Matt Fratton, who's really, in my opinion, still a prospect in a lot of ways. He's not a full-time NHL player, and it's a good upgrade, and they didn't have to get rid of one of their core players to get Gaborik, so that's a really good trade for LA, and they're definitely going to be in the Stanley Cup hunt. Now let's move on to the Florida Panthers. They traded forward Marcel Gottsch to Pittsburgh for 2 future draft picks, a 5th rounder in 2014 and a 3rd rounder in 2015. And Florida, while I'm on the topic of the Florida Panthers, since they acquired Roberto Luongo yesterday, they traded Tim Thomas to the Dallas Stars for Dan Ellis. Now, moving on to the Carolina Hurricanes, they trade Tomorutu to New Jersey for Andrei Lukshianov, I believe is how you probably said that wrong, but I don't know how to pronounce his name. And here's the big kicker: they got a conditional third-round pick back for Lukshianov in 2017, which surprises me that the pick is that late and not from an earlier draft. Now, I've already touched on the Tim Thomas, Dan Ellis trade, so moving on, the Edmonton Oilers traded Nick Schultz to the Columbus Blue Jackets for a 5th-round pick. And staying with defensemen, the Philadelphia Flyers traded Andre Mazzaros to the Boston Bruins for a 3rd-round pick, and that will help the Boston Bruins out considering that they are without defenseman Dennis Seidenberg for the rest of the season. Now, again, staying with defensemen, Rafael Diaz, who was earlier in the season, was moved from Montreal to Vancouver. He only ended up staying with Vancouver for 6 games because they moved him today to the New York Rangers for a 5th-round pick. And now the Calgary Flames have moved goaltender Reto Berra. I'm actually not sure where I'm not sure where Berra went. I apologize about that. But they got a 2nd-round pick in return for him. The Nashville Predators traded David Legwand to the Detroit Red Wings for Patrick Eaves and a prospect and a 3rd-round pick in 2014. Now here's another big trade. The New York Islanders traded Thomas Vanek to the Montreal Canadiens for prospect Sebastian Kohlberg and a conditional 2nd-round pick in 2014. Staying with the really big trades, the Buffalo Sabres traded Matt Molson and Cody McCormick to the Minnesota Wild for Torrey Mitchell and 2 2nd-round picks in 2014 and 2016. Now staying with Buffalo, they had newly acquired goaltender Yaroslav Halak. They turned around and shipped him to Washington for a 3rd-round pick in 2015 and the 3rd-round pick in 2015 for Michael Norverth and Radoslav Klesla from Washington. So Halak and the 3rd-round pick are going to Washington. Minor deal to tell you about, the Anaheim Ducks swapped just a single prospect each with the Ottawa Senators. The Calgary Flames traded Lee Stepniak to Pittsburgh for a 3rd-round pick in 2014. So Pittsburgh, they didn't get Ryan Kessler, but they definitely upgraded at the forward position in terms of their depth, and hopefully that will help them in a playoff run because they've got some injuries. The Colorado Avalanche swapped two prospects each with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The LA Kings got a prospect from San Jose for a conditional 7th-round pick in 2016, and that's basically it. The big names that did not get moved: Ryan Kessler, Alex Edler, Mike Camilleri. Now, in terms of Edler and Kessler, everyone thought Vancouver was going to have a fire sale and and have a youth movement, but it just didn't happen. Mike Camilleri, Brian Burke said he wanted to keep him in Calgary. The bigger story is, for me, being Canadian, is the Canadian teams. The Montreal Canadiens, major winners in terms of what the Canadian teams did, acquiring Thomas Vanek. You got to ask yourself, did Vancouver get enough for Roberto Luongo? I don't think they did, and if you want to know about that trade, watch my preview video. I will put it in the description box below. Another question is Ales Hemsky going to be enough of an upgrade for the Ottawa Senators? The Winnipeg Jets were a surprise. A lot of people thought that they would make a move, and they needed to make a move considering they're once again on the cusp of making the playoffs, but they did nothing. The Toronto Maple Leafs, Dave Notice said that he was comfortable with this group, but he did make some inquiries, but nothing really panned out. The Edmonton Oilers made a goalie upgrade in Victor Foss yesterday. Again, watch my preview video to hear about that. And Calgary, really they should be in a rebuild mode. And I wish they would just do it already. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up. Please like up this video and subscribe, and check out my preview video previewing NHL trade deadline day. I will see you next time.